In today's video, I want to talk to you about how self-sabotage can come up in your business, because I believe that opening up a business and being an entrepreneur is the greatest self-discovery. And if you have attempted at opening your business and can't seem to get it off the ground, this video is also for you. Starting a health coaching business can be an exciting yet rewarding venture, but it also can be married with self-sabotaging thoughts, behaviors, robbing you from your dreams before you've even gotten off the ground. Some of the most common self-sabotaging behaviors when it comes to opening a business include avoidance, procrastination, and perfectionism. So let's start with avoidance behaviors. Sometimes we can even avoid that we are avoiding. I would say that this is probably the hardest one to catch. There's a level of awareness and honesty with how you feel about things, because we're avoiding the things that we are scared and fearful of. When it comes to negative emotions, we naturally want to pull back from those feelings. We close in, withdraw, and we even want to pretend like it's not there, just because that is a way of how we withdraw from them and compartmentalize and put them up, what I like to say, in a box and on a shelf, and pretend like it's not there, even though deep down inside we know that it's there. And so becoming honest with those feelings and how we're pulling away from those is one of the biggest processes, avoiding very, very, very important areas within your business that could have it succeed, such as maybe avoiding calling back that potential client, or avoiding the importance of marketing within your company, or maybe avoiding taxes. I did that my first year, because those things are extremely scary and we're fearful of them, especially if we don't know what to expect or what they are or what they're going to be or how much it's going to cost. So this is really a protective mechanism that is pretty automated because of our childhood. Most of us have been raised to not really move forward or towards these feelings because we're not sure what's going to happen, especially if we're doing something that's brand new, like opening up a business. But with business, you avoid, you fail. And even though failing is a necessary part of opening a business so that you can learn and get better, if you avoid, you will fail without the lessons. So to assure that you're not avoiding things, one of the tips that I would suggest is be sure to write your action steps down. Having a list of all the necessary steps in what your plan is or what you need to do is critical for any business. And that's why creating not just a business plan, but more so a quarterly plan and a yearly plan of the turning points or the benchmarkers within your business will help to make sure that any steps that you need to get there are completed. So when you have those steps written down, and you find that you're really skipping over or not crossing out or going around one of those steps tangibly, then you can obviously see that feedback that you're avoiding. Then you will be able to catch yourself to be aware that you are avoiding and ask yourself, why are you avoiding this? What are we scared of? What are we fearful of? Ask yourself what you need to no longer have this belief, such as this fear. Either it be fear of failure, fear of not succeeding, or just screwing up. The next self-sabotaging behavior is procrastination. Procrastination is probably the most common self-sabotaging behavior, and it's probably the one that we're most aware of. This is less severe than avoidance, because with procrastination, at least we're doing it. We're just waiting to the very last minute or the end to do it. And although it's less severe, it does need still attention to look at, because I would say this is the most common one that can last the longest. Although less severe, I would say that this self-sabotaging behavior, procrastination, is probably the most commonly long-running one that entrepreneurs get into. Despite our best intentions, many people will feel themselves putting off doing what needs to be done in order to make their business successful. Whether it's writing up that business plan, designing a website, contacting your clients, you're doing it to the very last minute. Now, one of the most common reasons that I believe that we procrastinate, like avoidance, which is fear and being scared. Procrastination, I think it's less fear and scared, but more of not knowing why you're doing what you're doing. I'd like to look at procrastination kind of like you're in a car and you have these directions to go. You're not sure if you're heading to New York, California, or Michigan, and you're just driving in circles. And then at last minute, if you're pressured to choose, you choose one. So let's say you choose to go towards New York. And then as you're driving up towards New York, you realize, you know what? It's really cold up there. I don't like that direction. Let's turn back. And so you turn back, and then you take the direction to go to California. And so you go west and you start driving. And then as you drive out west, you realize, you know what? Maybe I do like the cold, but I want to do it in North California where the mountains and the beaches are. So you start driving north but west. So procrastination is not knowing really clearly where your destination is and where you're heading, and not having that pressure of the time we're wasting by delaying and by not having a clear path. So a key to procrastination is understanding your why, understanding your end goal and what it is that you're here to do within your business or in your general life. People that procrastinate within their business, if they're not passionate or don't feel driven in what they're doing, then they'll procrastinate even more because the end result really is not getting them anything. If we're in a career that isn't fulfilling, then you'll just be driving in circles until you go crazy. So having a clear why behind where you're going and what you're doing is one of the tips and advice that I would say for assuring that you're not procrastinating. And to do that, we come up with a 10-year goal. We come up with how life will look either 5 to 10 years from now. And then we break down that goal up. And so as opposed to the first tip of how to get rid of avoidance, in this one, it's not about having all your specific steps, but having your big goals so that you can know exactly where you're going, and then breaking it down so you don't get overwhelmed. Now, of course, this goal has to be aligned with your life, because if you're not pursuing a career or a field in business that is aligned with your life, then you're probably going to be less motivated to do it and therefore procrastinate. Now, the last one is perfectionism. Aiming for perfection before even putting out anything into the world is probably worse than procrastinating, because in a way this is also could be hidden as procrastinating, that we're doing something and wanting it to be so perfect that we're avoiding that we just need to get it out. So it can be kind of blended with the others, but perfectionism impedes the progress greatly and leads to endless delays with no real progress made at all. To combat perfectionism, it's important to remember that done is better than perfect. Nothing will ever be 100% of what we want, but don't wait for that idea before putting anything out there. Comparison mode can also trap us in this perfectionism because we're looking at someone else's work and thinking maybe theirs is better. I would say do not do this, because your business is uniquely you and an expression of you, which is what's going to help it be thriving or be successful. Sometimes the comparison or looking at others is kind of the pulling back of the bow and arrow, where we're looking on how to make it perfect, and we're not shooting because we want to have the perfect pull back of the bow and arrow. And as we're pulling back, we keep on searching for, okay, what is the perfect shot? What does it look like? What do I need to do? And what happens? We never let go of the bow, and therefore we never learn what it is that we need to do in order to get the shot. And so the actual perfection is doing it, is pulling back at the bow and arrow, letting go and allowing it to go shoot and hit some target so that we can see if this is too far, too close, or what it is that we need to do in order to get the bullseye that is right for us. So pulling back at the arrow and then feeling how we're doing it will then give us the feedback from the first time, knowing that we shot too far. Okay, well, this time I don't pull back so hard. I kind of bring the arrow closer so that it doesn't go so far but stays closer. Right? So the body will tell you what is right, what is wrong for you in your business, but it has to take practice. So self-sabotage really can be linked to a lot of beliefs that we have about ourselves, that maybe we're not capable, we're not good, that we need to do it this way, otherwise it's not good enough, whatever it may be. And these are the most common behaviors that are coming from those beliefs. And be sure to be aware of them, and I can guarantee you just being aware of them alone will help you to then move through them as you make action steps to no longer do that, or to just step into those feelings so that you can turn them into a new comfort. Because the first time you do something is very uncomfortable, but as you do it over and over and over again, you get comfortable in doing it, and soon enough you'll look back maybe 1, 2, 3, 10 years later and be like, holy cow, when I first did that, it was so hard. So I hope that helps. If you enjoyed this content, this information, be sure to give me a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.